A poem called When. This is a poem called When. It talks about when I was born. My name was just a tiny thought in my daddy's head. When they couldn't decide on Alex or Alice, or Patricia or Patrick. This is a poem called When. It talks about all the tiny things I don't want to forget. Well, it talks about all the tiny things I haven't forgotten yet. It talks about when I was 5 and still believed in Santa. When I'd stay up real late and still never saw him eat the milk and cookies. When I was 1 and had a blankie and a cuddly sheep I'd hug each night. When I was 2 and my daddy gave me a drumstick. I still remember it like I was standing right there, all tiny and cute. I saw him playing this old drumstick he had gotten before he decided to be a music teacher. I heard him playing and got so happy. I ran right into the cymbals. This is a poem called When. It talks about the teeny tiny moments I don't want to forget. Like when I was 10 and daddy bought me my first drum set. Mama was so mad. I couldn't stop playing. I mean, I could see it already. I was a rock star. I was on stage. The crowd was yelling and shouting and jumping. And I hadn't even hit the cymbals yet. And then I did. And the crowd went crazy. The crash drove them crazy. This is a poem called When. It's about the things I don't want to forget. It's about my daddy. When I was 11 and he seemed to start caring less. When I started going to competitions and he wouldn't show up. I was angry. Really angry. Whenever I told him that, all he ever said was sorry. I told him I didn't want sorry. I wanted him to see me play. He had to see the crowd, the way they moved, how it all just felt right. I told him that. He said sorry again and started coughing. The cough sounded like percussion, like loud, steady beats. This is a poem called When. It's a poem that when I finish it, I'll probably hate it. It's about my dreams and hopes and my wishes. It's about when I was 12. My dad finally went to my first competition. When he heard me play. I can still remember it. I remember because the hi-hats kept changing. Mom said that was the best part. Dad didn't like it, but said he understood it. He said the hi-hats are stable and simple. They keep the beat steady, and that's what I did. I kept the beat steady. Real smooth and calm. Then the bass came. The crowd went crazy. I went crazy. I mean, the boom shook up everything. This is a poem called When. It's about my daddy. I called him daddy because I love him. And when you love someone, you just got a certain picture of them in your head. And my dad, he isn't really a dad. He's daddy. He's always happy and smiley and giggly. My dad's more of a daddy. When I was 13 and got my first boyfriend, he walked me right up to his parents' car, shook their hands, and got their names. He said to them that I was his world. Now their son better not mess up. I was embarrassed. My dad didn't care. This is a poem called When. It's about all the things I never want to forget. Like when I was 14 and joined my first band. When daddy recorded all the videos while mama watched. When daddy's coughing got worse but I got better. When we got approached by managers and producers and things like that. When daddy wanted to be our manager, but was always too sick to be on sets and talk with person after person. When I started thinking about just how much he was coughing. When I realized that the coughing wasn't just coughing. When the world shrank and I started yelling and crying, and mama was hugging me tight. When I didn't want her hugs. When I could see that crowd again. My daddy staring up and watching as I kept the beat steady, simple, and then hit the bass. I could feel it go through me and past me. I could feel it shake up everything with the boom. This is a poem called When. This is about when I was 15 and first started really using snares. When the feeling of hitting a drum became a catharsis, an out, a way to get rid of all my anger. At daddy for getting sick and not telling us. At mom because she kept trying to hug me. At God for making daddy better and then sick again. At the band for always playing during visiting hours. For never giving me enough time to go see my dad. This is a poem called When. It's about drums and how dumb they can be. how they have all these parts and pieces. How you have to take care of each piece. How they made me realize that you have to take care of each piece. My daddy got better, but I was too busy to visit him. My daddy finally got to see me and smiled. I saw a smile and I went crazy. I started bawling. Got his sheets all covered in makeup and everything. How he said crash. How he calmed me down when I was that sad and that happy. I don't even remember. There's a poem called When. And it's about when I was born. My daddy couldn't think of a name yet. When I was sad and loud and teary. There's a poem called When. It's about when God plays with our hearts. When He scared us so, so bad. When He makes us realize that life is like a drum set. We have to take care of all the parts. All of our important people and loved ones. They have to have a tiny little moment for each of them. There's a poem called When. It's about moments I never, ever want to forget. There's a poem called When, and it's about me. Crash. So yeah, that was a poem called When. Well, it's called... Wait. Yeah, that was right. That was a poem called When. And, well, it's a short story, pretty much. And it's just about this girl named Crash and just an experience she had. Well, not an experience she had. It's all completely made up. It's something I wrote. But it was basically about just Crash and just her experience and just something she was going through, just something she was feeling, just something she experienced. But yeah, that was a poem called When. If you liked it, like the video, that's pretty much it. Yeah.